We are waiting for some.
No, sir, we are going live on YouTube, just setting up the network.
Can we start now?
Welcome, Big Boss.
Good evening,
sir.
Very good evening.
Good evening, Daya.
Good evening, Aparna. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
All good, all good. Everything perfect.
Good. So, congratulations on being elected to all the committees.
Thank you very much, madam. Fortunately, the trust is placed on a very high side. So, things are good. That way now, chairman of peer review, chairman of M&SS. SSP is again with me only this year because it's an election year. The data has to be right. So that is also there. Then vice chairman of DAB as well as vice chairman of FRRB. So administrative as well as technical committee both are there.
Yes. Good. Wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam.
Good evening, Daya sir. So, how are you?
Hi, good evening. Good evening, Revati madam. How are you? I'm good.
Yeah.
So both
Aditi, where do you share the presentation here? There.
Yes, ma'am, you can share the presentation as well.
So we have.
I can't see any.
Aparna, you have to first open the presentation in your system, then click on that. There is one box beside that red button. No, that is a shade. On the top of the screen, you'll see 4. Between the speaker and that red button, you have that double.
Oh, yeah.
You
Share
can
screen.
just share screen. It will ask share system, and you click the then.
Okay.
Sir, we are ready. Shall we start the session? Yes, sir. It goes like this. मुस्कुराकर दर्द भुलाकर रिश्तों में बंद थी दुनिया सारी मुस्कुराकर दर्द भुलाकर रिश्तों में बंद थी दुनिया सारी हर पग को रोशन करने वाली वो शक्ति है एक नारी A warm good evening to all the dignitaries in the meeting, the speakers and the students. I am Aditi C. Kulkarni, Managing Committee Member of Hyderabad branch of SICASA. We all have come together today on the occasion of International Women's Day to recognize and celebrate strong women. Internationally, the theme for Women's Day is Choose to Challenge. So we can all choose to challenge and call out gender bias and inequality. We can seek out and celebrate women's achievements. Today we have members of ICAI to motivate female student chartered accountants. So firstly, I would like to request ACS sir to welcome the guests and the students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aditi. Sir, welcome to today's session. Central Council Member Daya sir and Branch Chairman Vachirao Garu and immediate past Chairman Pankaj Trivedi sir and SIRC member Revati madam and past Chairman of Hyderabad branch Aparna madam. And it's a great day to celebrate Women's Day. And one day is not sufficient to celebrate Women's Day. Every day we need to celebrate. Why? Because the way they play role in everyone's life, that's a great role. And their encouragement and their entrepreneurship is very, very important, not only at the organization level. They will play each and every role in the home and outside, and today's change the world. So we request to everyone and address our young students how they are going to become very successful persons in their life. Thank you, each and everyone. Now over to Aditi.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I request Bhanu Narayan Rao, sir, past chairperson, to address the students.
Bhanu sir.
Thank you, Aditi.
Bhanu sir, we are not able to see you, sir.
Yeah, there's some problem in connectivity, I suppose, but I think you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Respected Central Council member Daniva Sharma ji and SIRC leader Revati madam, and the only lady chairman of Hyderabad so far, Aparna madam, the rising star from Hyderabad, Rajam, and while addressing all this, I forgot to address my chairman, Macharrao Meenavalli. I should have addressed you first, sir, as per protocol. And the immediate past chairman, Pankaj Kumar Trivedi ji, and all the SIRC leaders, the upcoming stars of Indian Chartered Accountant arena, all the young SICASA members, SICASA Hyderabad members. First and foremost, I would like to put on record my appreciation to the entire team of SICASA, led by our dynamic ACS Reddy, to plan such a nice program. I heard Revati madam was just saying in the informal chat before the meeting, the topic is very close to her heart, and she's expecting the program to go on in a nice and a good way. Yesterday, Rajam showed the way by conducting a day-long program, and today SICASA is following it up. And all the best to the leaders, and especially to ACS Reddy and Aditi and Praveen and all other SICASA team. I hope the attendance will pick up very soon, and we'll have a very good and educative program from now onwards. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. You keep supporting us. We will do the great things. Now I request CA Pankaj Trivedi to give a message to the students out there. Pankaj sir, can you hear us?
Pankaj sir.
I think Sari is not available, ma'am.
Okay, let's continue the meeting. I request Macharrao sir, present branch chairman, to address the future female chartered accountants.
Thank you, Aditi. And first and foremost, I would like to thank Dayaniva Sharma ji, the Central Council member, Revati Raghunandan ma'am from SIRC, and our Aparna ma'am and Raju ma'am and ACS, and all the students. Very good evening. And first and foremost, I would like to thank ACS for organizing a wonderful program. And yesterday also, Rajam has done very good program. Both of you, I really best compliments and best wishes for you. And students, we are celebrating Women's Day again. Yesterday we celebrated in a branch, and you have given me a chance to celebrate again in visual mode. As I said yesterday, women are the beautiful creation of the God. The angel on the earth makes our lives a wonderful experience altogether. Somebody told this angel shakes the cradle with one hand and earth on the other hand. The fact that all the great people is born from the womb of the woman, and woman is a great teacher for all these great people, the first teacher of the great people. And celebrating women is just is expressing our gratitude to all the female in our life. It may be the professional life or a personal life. And every year we are celebrating internationally Women's Day on 8th March, and it's observed around the world to celebrate the welfare of the women. Women from various culture, ethnic group come together, crossing all the boundaries to remember the struggle of decade of peace, justice, equality, and development. Yesterday, the ma'am TL Almelu ma'am said that it's a great learning for me. Gender parity is nothing but recognizing a woman as a human being, not just as a parity in pay or not parity in remuneration, not parity in management, leadership, etc. Just seeing the woman as a human being. The great words which I learned yesterday. Rajan, thank you for inviting such a wonderful person for yesterday's program. So International Women's Day, all about feeling women realize their worth and giving the best to achieve their actual potential. This day, world unites to appreciate the courage to cross all the hurdles and make such a tremendous improvement in the almost all spheres of the life. He said that it is the most important thing to be given emphasize this work that still needs to be done more to complete the gap between the present situation which is existing from the ages. I wish all the women seated here all the very best, and I wish all the very best my these women students, both I think a lot of voice also there. I wish all the very best both of them. And a very simple word, woman power is incredible and it cannot be expressed through few words. And one more thing, for women, it's really great. I can say balancing is required because they have to maintain both professional and personal life. And most of the seminars we are hearing, and I'm also seeing in this my house because my wife is a Ravati ma'am student and Deepthi is also chartered accountant, and managing the house, managing the office, managing the kids. I know how much difficult it is. So thanks to all the wonderful women in the world. Thanks to God for creating the women on the world. Once again, welcome you all, ma'am, for coming here, and I appreciate all the students who are putting efforts for organizing this event. And ACS, all the very best. Thank you all. All the best. Over to
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Aditi Pankaj sir is there.
Yes, sir. Pankaj, sir, I request you to give a message to the students out there.
Yeah. Thank you, Aditi. My sincere apologies because I lost the connectivity. Machar, I never intended to do it. Thank you very much. So, very quickly, Revati madam, Aparna madam, Machar Rao, Bhanunarayan, ACS, Dhanivas Sharma ji, Rajambal, all the other leaders and students, very good evening to all of you. I think at the outset, I would like to congratulate SICASA Hyderabad because to my knowledge, this is the first time a students wing is conducting this Women's Day seminar. So I'm really happy with it. And it is but natural that you are conducting it for the first time because we have 2 women members in the 3-member committee. So I was expecting this thing would happen soon. And friends, as many people, as all of you have said, yes, women are respected, should be respected all the year. And one day celebration is not enough. And let us also understand one thing, that where is the choice? You want education, you go to Saraswati. You want money, you go to Lakshmi. You want protection, you go to Durga. And you know how Vishnu is made to sit in an ocean alone, how Lord Shiva is just battling the cold in Himalaya. So it's only the women who are going to protect you. So it is but natural that we celebrate the womanhood. But yes, today's women, especially some of with whom I was fortunate to work, are the great examples of how the multitasking is done. And this COVID-19 has also given all of us an opportunity to see how difficult it is to do the household work as well as run the show. So I think it's, I salute all the women, and I'd like to just stop here, congratulating and wishing every woman a happy Women's Day in advance. And thank you very much for asking me to speak. Thank you, Aditi.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request CA Dayanivas Sharma to the Central Council member to address the gathering. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Aditi. And first of all, wishes to you. You are the young lady sitting in the entire crowd. So the honors has to go to you because it is the student seminar, and really good that you all people are making us proud. The kind of percentage of passing which has been done by all the girls are marvelous. So God bless you for doing all good things. Honorable Chairman of Hyderabad branch of SIRC of ICAI, Machar Rao congratulations to you in your tenure. Particularly, you initiated certain good initiatives, and please continue what was being done in the last 2 years. And more importantly, we have our senior and permanent chairman Bhanu Narayan ji and Pankaj Trivedi ji who are there. And more importantly, today we have three women who are more powerful in three different stages. If you talk about Rajan from branch, Revati madam from the SIRC, and the past chairman of Hyderabad branch, I think the first and the last lady, I think Rajan, you need to be the second one. Aparna madam, thank you very much for joining us. Your guidance has always given us a lot of motivation and positivity to work around. And whenever we do a major program, without your name, it cannot actually move forward. And more important part is, I think today the program which has been designed, which is called Darshini, and choose to challenge. I think we are actually getting a choice to challenge because what is happening is the maximum number of people who are passing out CA examinations are happening to be girls. Am I right, Revati madam?
Yes, yes, definitely.
And more importantly, the rankers are all girls only. And I'm fortunate that after 125 years, a daughter is born in my family, and I'm blessed to be a father of a daughter. And fortunately, you can imagine the power of woman is before me, my mother is sitting, and right to me is my wife sitting, and they are trying to listen what I'm going to speak. So the point is very simple. I don't have much to say. Pankaj Bhai has very rightly said, all the power lies with women. And more than a son when qualifies a chartered accountancy course or any professional examination, father is happy because that is expected out of him. But when a daughter passes, I think it makes a different kind of pleasure to the entire family. And you all girls are actually making it happen every now and then and making us feel so good that we take in pride, very strong pride in making certain statements that, we are a father of a daughter who is actually qualified CA. So I wish you all a great success going forward. Never lose confidence. When you talk about taking a challenge, I think you have to first take challenge for yourself, with you yourself, what best you can do it. And how do you actually demonstrate that by giving it back as a satisfaction to your parents? What happens is, yes, the fact goes very simple. Girls, the way the culture has been created not only in India, across the globe, the fact is a girl gets married and goes to a boy's house. But the fact is the success of a daughter actually lies when she is in the family itself. Yes, after passing also we get a lot of success. Undoubtedly satisfaction is there. But the fact is the girls who qualify when they are staying with the parents, the kind of satisfaction which they get is something marvelous and unbelievable. I'll tell you one example of mine. My article was there whose completed articles might be 10 years back. And now after she got married, and now after 7 years of her marriage, she passes her examination. I just awarded her and came back home. And I feel so satisfied that that girl after getting married also she could complete her examination and ensure that she not only make their parents proud about it but also their in-laws proud about it, and more importantly the husband who is there, and now she has a child. With the child also, just imagine the kind of satisfaction which is going to go. So these challenges are only accepted by women in all respects because they know how to fight. They are those people who are actually doing multitasking. They are those people who are handling so many other factors of life which we as a human being, or we as a male, I'll write, I'll confess, saying that we have 101 excuses that you're going out, you're doing this, that, and all of that. But the entire thing, that even my going out is only because of the woman. Whether it is mother, whether it is wife, whether it is daughter, they sacrifice. but we think that we are doing something great. But I think beyond us is our wife, our mother, our children, who are actually contributing to our life on a continuous basis. Aparna madam, you have set a great example for all of us by being in practice to now getting into industry and giving employment to so many people. And I pray that your venture, which is there, becomes a great success only for one reason, that this journey of yours from a chartered accountant student to chartered accountant qualified to practicing now to industry, just imagine you are not only feeding your family, but you are feeding families of many people. So really, we are, when we see people, I don't have to go out to find a motivation within. I have so many good people who are there. Rajam, the way she is actually handling her family with the children, she goes to pick them up, get them back from their hostel and all. When she has to go out with the family, she actually keeps her job aside and ensures that she is actually with the children and ensuring that she is taking them around. I still remember, Revati madam, hats off to you. Your daughter's marriage was there, son's marriage was there, and you attended one day before a regional council meeting. This is the kind of
On that
commitment
day.
which you. I yeah.
On that day.
On that day, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
on that
finished
day,
the marriage
yeah,
with you.
I correct myself. It was on that day. Just imagine who can do this. Who can do this? These are all the contribution which we all have to recognize all throughout and be happy with what we are getting. I think every woman in our life has given a great amount of learning and experience. You all kids who have been doing Aditi, good job. You are taking initiative to be part of and SICASA activity, which is some people think it, other organizations, other institutes, or other universities, is it's a political position. But this is something which you are contributing from your own self, which is something which is you are trying to set an example for the new students. Continue doing it. Every person I can continue talking. We are just an extended arm of a woman. We are not the primary, but you are the primary people in our life. Thank you very much for ensuring that you're always, taking care of us in every form and every respect. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was great hearing you. Let's start with the session today. So I would like to introduce our first speaker for the session. It's Revati S. Raghunathan. Ma'am is a chartered accountant. She is qualified in 1990, and she, other than chartered accountancy, she also has professional qualifications. Like she is an insolvency professional with Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, and she has also done certified information systems auditor from ISACA and certified software test manager STQC Chennai. Her current position is she is a partner in A. Raghunathan and Company, and she is the treasurer of SIRC of ICAI. A few of her achievements are she has been awarded as a top auditor by leading corporate from a panel of internal auditors pan India 2 years consecutively. And she has developed an auditing software for the TRI documentation compliance for the telecom sector and fraud identification and investigation and cost saving to the extent of 10 crores to two corporates and the addressing on professional topics in various forums, and she has also addressed career guidance seminars conducted by Rotary Club RYLA. So today the Revati ma'am will be speaking on the topic what changes in society's approach towards gender equality are you most proud of? Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Aditi. First, thanks to SICASA Hyderabad for inviting me. Very good evening to all. Good evening to the Central Council member Dayanivas Sharma ji. I think that first we should all give a big hand to him, because he's confessed first that all the women in his family have enabled him to reach this far. I really appreciate that. And the fact that you have openly admitted that, women are the people who are enabling society to move forward. that requires a lot of, I would say, confidence, self-confidence, and maturity to accept it in a public forum like this. I'm actually really very proud of hearing you say this, and I'll never forget this, and I will always mention it whenever I see you. It's really very nice that you have, because when you're addressing the students and you are openly acknowledging this information is automatically percolating down to the students. Tomorrow, all the boys will also go around accepting a senior leader like Dayanivas ji has acknowledged this. And so there's nothing wrong if I acknowledge. You're setting them on the right path towards this. The chairman Macharao ji and the past chairman Mr. Banu Narayan and Pankaj Trivedi, the SICASA chairman ACS Reddy, and my fellow women who have achieved so much. Aparna ma'am, like I told you, you are giving me and Rajam the goal to achieve as much as you. Hopefully we will be able to reach the heights that you are reaching. And Rajam also, and to the managing committee of SICASA. Again, thanks a lot for inviting me. I think I was told I could speak for 20 minutes. I hope I will not exceed that. But Aditi has given me a very tough topic. She's told me to speak on changes in the society's approach towards gender equality, about which I am proud of. Okay, so that set me thinking, what exactly is gender equality? So when we think of gender equality, what we think is that it is more of equality, sexual equality, equality of the sexes and other things. But I think it means more of access to resources and opportunities, regardless of the fact whether you are a male or a female, equality in treatment, wherever you go, social equality, economic equality, all these things which make a huge difference to the woman's life, and recognition of the fact publicly, like women contribute more towards the economic advancement in the country, economic advancement in the family. So, it's not the fact Dayanivas ji recognized it and acknowledged it today. All people across all levels of the society, men and women, have got to recognize the fact that women are one of the most important creations on the planet, and they are responsible for the way that the world is marching forward today. So having said that, I want to say that UN theme for International Women's Day is Women in Leadership, Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 world. So, and also if you see the UN Sustainable Goals, the fifth goal is again gender equality. So gender equality is something which all of us are talking about. And I also I Googled the meaning of Darshini. So Darshini it's got such a beautiful meaning. It is the one who is blessed. And it is another name for Goddess Durga, who was mentioned by your past chairman. So all women are blessed, and we are very lucky we are born in a country where women are worshipped. But in spite of the fact that women are worshipped, there are so many atrocities also which are happening against women. And we have a very, very long way to go as far as women empowerment is concerned. All of us who are chartered accountants and also girls who are doing the course, all of us are empowered because we have decided to do this professional course. But in spite of that, there are many, many other women out there who are not empowered, who are not, who do not have access to so many things which we take for granted. These are the areas where the equality for women is required. If we see the UN sustainable goals, it says, UN says that, we need women to be economically prosperous. They are the people who are going to lay the foundation for a peaceful and prosperous and sustainable world. And, there has been a lot of progress which is made towards gender equality. But now again, the COVID pandemic has, taken us a few steps backwards. But having worked this far, I think that all of us can work a little more towards bringing this gender equality on par. So what I wanted to say is that there are many things about which I am proud. I'm supposed to talk about what I'm proud of, about the steps which we have taken towards the gender equality, society's steps. Society as a whole, there is a lot which needs to be done. We are, lucky enough, we are on the top layer of the society, and we are benefiting from a lot of work which has gone towards empowering women. But at the lower levels, we have to see how the gender equality is really panned out. And if we see, look at it, we will see that the gender equality is not that pervasive as we think it to be. So, what are the things which have been done to ensure that there is a equality for women, there is a parity for women? This is, I would say, I would like to talk about it from the legal point of view. What are the rights which we have as women, which, today we take it for granted. Many of us take many of our rights for granted, but these rights many women do not know, many men also do not know. And I think it is the responsibility of professional women like us who have to disseminate this information across all stratas of society, across to all people whom we come across. These are rights which, enable us to lead our lives in a more comfortable manner, occupy the same space as another man who's there along with us. These are rights which will tell us that do not be bogged down by the restrictions. You don't need to abide by certain unequal rules and regulations. There is no need for you to be conscious of the fact that you have to be dressed up very, very modestly. You have to stay back home at night. You cannot travel alone. Don't work too late. Do not have too many male friends. There's nothing wrong in having a male friend. So all these restrictions, we should think that we have rights. We should know that we have these rights. There are so many women who are undergoing so many restrictions. So for these restrictions, we should be aware that the government has empowered the women. The Constitution through Articles 14 and 15, which talks about gender equality and, the citizenship rights, it enables the woman to stand on par with the man. And it gives you that about. So you read the Article 14 and 15. See what are the rights which are given to you by the Parliament. The Parliament does, by the Constitution, it does not distinguish between a man and a woman. It gives you equal rights as a man and as a woman. So having said that, the government has realized that for the citizens to understand that the man and the woman are on the same platform, certain gender-specific laws have been enacted by the government for the empowerment of the women and the betterment of the Indian society at large. And it is very sad that most women in India are not even aware of the rights. See, we would constitute say about 0.5% of the society. So what about the other 95% of the women? They will not even be aware of the fact that they have such basic fundamental rights which they can access to ensure that they are not being exploited or misused. So I am very proud that my government has recognized that the women need certain gender-specific rights to ensure that they are not exploited or misused. What is lacking today is not the rights or the laws. What is lacking is the implementation, the enforcement, and the execution of these laws. And how will it be done? Only after the woman who is in a problem is able to stand up for her right and say, yes, I have this right. I know that you cannot do this under the POSH Act. I know I have the right to an equal pay. All these things, unless and until we are aware of, we will not be able to stand up for our rights. So, notwithstanding that there are laws, we have to know these laws and stand up for our rights. I will just give a brief, touch upon a few of the laws which I think that all women need to know. One is you have a right to legal aid. Suppose there is a instance where you have to visit a police station. It is normal. It is the right of a woman to visit the police station with a lawyer or with her relative, and there should be a woman constable in the police station. And if you are not accompanied by a lawyer, then you have a right to get the legal aid. You can ask the station officer to get you a free legal aid. Ask for a lawyer to be appointed to help you. This is one of the most important rights which has been enabled to us under the Legal Services Authorities Act. Then you have a right to privacy. See, today all of us are very, there is an information overload actually. And all of us are Googling everything, and we know that we are, information is at the fingertips. But even though we go online and we do so many things, we have to understand there is a right to privacy. If you see, there are certain sections even in the Indian Penal Code and the Information Technology Act and in the POSH Act which says that every woman is entitled to privacy. Every woman is entitled to, file a case if anyone is stalking her, cyber stalking, physical stalking on the roads. All these things, there are laws which strictly prohibit such acts. So what is this right to privacy? You have it under section 164 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Any woman who has, survived a rape or a sexual exploitation can record a statement in private. It is not only these mischances. Any statement which a woman has to record can be recorded in front of a magistrate without being overheard by any other person. You need to know that you have the right to ask for privacy. You cannot, you can say, I do not want this person to stand here and he's standing there as a threat to me. Even if there is a lady constable and she's standing as a threat, you have every right to say, demand your right for privacy under section 164 of the Criminal Procedure Code. And then the next right is, if you want to make a complaint, it is not necessary that you have to go to a police station and make a complaint. You have the right to make virtual complaints also. And there are situations where you can also do a zero FIR. So if you can make a complaint via email or through a registered post to a senior police officer or to the deputy commissioner or commissioner of police, then what happens? The police department will take it in their thing, and they will direct the concerned police station to take action against this particular complaint which the lady has made through virtual. And then the normal processes of law will come into force, and the police will come to the residence of the lady and take down her statement and carry on the action. The next right is there is a right of no arrest. So what does that mean? It does not mean that any woman can commit any crime and not be arrested. It means that a woman cannot be arrested before 6 a.m. or after 6 p.m. And even if there is a warrant for arrest against a woman, this woman cannot be arrested before 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. And this is under section 46 of the Criminal Procedure Code in India. Then again, even, there are certain instances where women will be called to the police station for, interrogation. Then there are situations. I'm not saying that women are not capable of anything wrong. Women are also capable of many atrocities. But the police do not have the right to call a woman or force a woman to come to the police station for interrogation. So what does the section 160 of the CPC say? It says Indian women cannot, with the right to not being physically present, it gives the right to the woman to not be physically present at the police station for questioning. The police can interrogate that lady in her residence in the presence of a woman constable or in the presence of her family members and friends. So this is all to ensure that, the woman is not being threatened unduly. And these are all rights which, we should all be aware of and we should be able to disseminate. Another right, this, I think all of us should, be aware of this and insist that this particular right is being followed in all organizations wherever we are associated, either as auditors or as employees or as consultants in any manner. This is the right to equal pay. A few days back, there was an article in the newspaper about a survey done by LinkedIn in the Asia Pacific region about the pay, which is the pay parity. There should actually be a pay parity in any organization. But if you see, there was a huge disparity for the salary which is paid to a woman when compared to the salary which is paid to her male colleague who is doing the same amount of work, who is her peer. So this disparity should definitely reduce. In fact, there is an act itself which is called as the Equal Remuneration Act, which was promulgated long ago in 1976, where in section 4 it says it is a duty of an employer. So the employers should definitely pay equal remuneration to men and women workers for the same work or for work of a similar nature. So you cannot be discriminated. See, Article 14 and 15 of the Constitution already says that there cannot be any distinction between discrimination between a man and a woman, or there cannot be any discrimination on the basis of gender. So your Section 4 of Equal Remuneration Act says that there cannot be any discrimination on the basis of gender when it comes to salary or wages. If I'm exceeding my time limit, just please tell me, I will cut it short. Then you have this another important section, considering the social situation in our country, where, all of us as women, however advanced we are economically, however, whatever is the status in the society, Indian women are generally expected to maintain the status of the family. And you know what? And we are conditioned right from the day that we are born that, we have to follow, we have to live our lives within a certain boundary. Do not overstep this boundary. Do not do this. Do not dress like this. Do not talk with this person. Do not stay late. And do not go and talk, do so many activities. We have a status to maintain. So all these things has given cognizance in this Section 228 of the Indian Penal Code, where it says that a woman's privacy is protected. So if a woman has been, is unfortunate enough to undergo any incident, then she can record her statement anonymously, and any other statement which any woman also has to give can be given anonymously to a district magistrate when the case is under trial or in the presence of a female officer. Then you have this another very important right, this is the right against domestic violence. In fact, if you see this domestic violence is something which is prevalent in all stratas of society. I have personally come across even lady chartered accountants who were victims of domestic violence and who have been bold enough to get out of those situations. And if you see the UN report during this pandemic situation also, violence against women was on the rise because, if people had read during the lockdown period, if you had been reading the newspapers, you would have seen many articles on the fact that there was a lot of violence against women. Domestic violence was on the rise, and there was a lot of counseling which was being offered by many social organizations for the protection of these women. So there is an act. There is this act which says that Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. It was also promulgated in 2005, which gives protection to the woman, to the wife, to the ladies in the family, to a mother or sister, even the domestic servants. All of them are protected from any kind of domestic violence from any males within the family, any relatives, any friends. And this is one right which we should all be aware of and which we should disseminate, because such issues are kept secret. It's brushed under the carpet. People do not want to actually accept. You don't want to accept so many unpalatable, unpleasant things. So they will say, expect the woman to keep quiet. But no, why should we accept all this? Do not accept. There is a law which has been enacted by the government to protect women from such atrocities. Please make use of these laws. Then you have this right to maternity benefits, which any person who is working will know that if you are actually having a baby, then 12 weeks after your delivery, you can take a maternity leave and you will not be suffering any monetary loss or any loss of earnings because of this leave. So this is a right. It is not a privilege. We should understand that taking maternity leave is not a privilege. It is a basic inherent right. Then this is another right, which all of us should know, which is very prevalent in our country, this practice of female feticide. There is a act which was enacted in 1994 called as the Preconception and Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act, which prevents anyone from actually determining the sex of the unborn child and prevent the feticide, female feticide. And this is something which we as educated women should tell all the other women who are not aware of this and who are forced to abort their children, the girl child, that there is a right. You can rise up against this and make a complaint against whoever is forcing you to do this. Another important right is, we all will know, is the right to inheritance. We all have an equal share to inherit from our parents and forefathers by the Hindu Succession Act. There is another act, last act which I will not take too much more time. There is another act which all of us definitely need to be aware of, which is the Sexual Harassment Act. This act is actually against sexual harassment which a woman undergoes in a workplace. It doesn't protect any woman in the residence. You have the Domestic Violence Act and other act, or you have the CPC which you have to fall back upon. But what happened was, earlier when any woman was undergoing a sexual harassment, she had to go through the CPC, and it was on the woman to prove that she faced harassment, that she faced, an uncomfortable situation. She faced threats. But now, after the enactment of this act, there is a straight legal remedy for a person, for a woman, from 2013 for the sexual harassment of prevention of sexual harassment of women at the workplace. I'll talk to you very briefly about this act. What exactly, any woman of any age, wherever she is, whether she's employed in that particular place or not, and who's alleging to have been subjected. So even if you're visiting a corporate and there is a sexual harassment in that place, a woman can take refuge under this act. And it also gives you a very exhaustive definition of what is a sexual harassment. It means the implicit or explicit promise of preferential treatment in employment, or a threat of a detrimental treatment in employment, okay, or of your future employment. There are many people who say, if you don't do this, I will do this to you. If you do this, I will give this to you. Then they interfere with your work. They make you feel so uncomfortable that you're mentally, emotionally not able to do work also. The work environment is hostile. There is a humiliating treatment which is affecting your health. So in all these instances, the employer is, if the employer has more than 10 women employees in his organization, he is supposed to constitute a complaints committee to ensure that the women's, grievances are redressed. And in case there are lesser than 10 employees, then the women can take refuge with the local complaints committee. I'll just give you, I'm not going to talk more about the act. It's a very small act. If you go to the Women Ministry website, you will be able to download the act and read it. But I just want to give you, a brief about the how the act came into force. It's a very sad story, but it also speaks about the inherent strength of the Indian woman, especially the rural Indian woman who was bold enough to stand up and fight against the collective male ecosystem and come up, bring in sweeping. In fact, this is one of the 10 landmark judgments in India which made a difference. So this is the story of Banwari Devi, who was a social worker in Rajasthan, who was actually appointed to prevent prevent child marriages, okay, which is very prevalent there. So one day, as a part of her work, she tried to stop the marriage of a 1-year-old infant. But the rural people being what they are, the marriage was solemnized, but the father and the other men in the family of the child did not forgive this lady's efforts to stop the marriage, and they gang raped her to punish her, including the infant's father, and they did it in front of her husband. But Banwari Devi was a very, very bold woman, and what she did was she fought for justice. She did not keep quiet. She did not go back to her village and hide. She fought, and there was a collective of NGOs and women's groups who helped her under the platform of Vishaka. And the Vishaka guidelines were issued in 1997. It is a very famous Supreme Court judgment, from which the Vishaka guidelines, this POSH Act evolved, and it became an act in 2013. The guidelines were issued in 1997 in the Supreme Court judgment, from which this act has evolved. This is one act about which all of us should definitely be aware and take refuge. And we should also tell all the women that we are associated with that there is a remedy for us. We can take refuge under this act. So there are a lot more laws, many more laws which all of us can access, and these are the basic laws. You asked me to speak about something which I am proud of. I am proud that in my country there are so many laws which have been enacted to ensure that the gender parity is maintained, that women are comfortable when they go out, women are safe, to ensure their safety, to ensure their protection, to ensure that they have parity in pay, to ensure that they are not suffering from domestic violence or sexual harassment. These are the many laws. I am very proud that the lawmakers have ensured that there are so many acts which are there to ensure the safety and the gender parity of women. And I think that as professionals, we should disseminate this among all our clients and other women and men also whom we come across. So I would like to say thank you very much once again for inviting me to address the students, and also what a fantastic job you are all doing. Thanks a lot. Jai ICAI, Jai. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great learning. Actually, everybody has to know about these laws, that they exist, but a lot of us, including me, don't know that they actually exist and that there are a lot of procedures. So it was a great learning. Maybe it is very helpful to the students so that they can overcome their problems. We have got a great opportunity today that we could share it with the students. And I have a few questions related to this. So a lot of times before it used to be like, before the internet and mobile technology and all that, it used to be like we used to face maybe physical harassment or something like that. But now due to the internet, we face online harassment. Like maybe with the social media platforms or with the text messages and everything. So how could students deal with it? Like, is it a casual thing, or how do you overcome that?
See, actually, it is not a casual thing. You do not have to put up with this. If you see the Information Technology Act, there are certain specific sections in the Information Technology Act. You can go to the nearest cybercrime unit and make a complaint against that person. There are provisions in the CPC. okay, where you can go to a police station. You can, like I told you, you can file an online complaint. Make an online complaint to the cybercrime unit. They automatically take action against the perpetrators. I don't think we should put up with any of these things which are stalking and other things which are happening in the cyber world. In fact, I have a personal experience where somebody was stalking a woman, and that guy had one guy did it when he was working somewhere else, and we appointed him, and suddenly one day the police landed in our office to interrogate this guy, and they were able to find out somebody had made a complaint that this guy has through cyber networks, through internet, he was harassing a senior woman, and they came, so the moment you make a complaint, they take an action. So there is no need for us to be hesitant about making such a complaint.
And one more thing I wanted to ask is few organizations, few CA firms especially, they don't recruit women for some or the other reason. It's like they only take male as an article or maybe paid assistant or whatever. Like, what do you say about that? Like, is that correct or?
I would say it is not correct. There are certain things which are unspoken and, which we do not generally address. But I think it is an injustice to a girl if she wants to go and join in a place and she is refused a position there. Maybe you should make a complaint to the institute. We have Dayanivasi who is there. You can make a complaint to the institute and say this particular firm has this policy of not recruiting girls as articles because of so many issues. Definitely institute will take an action. We cannot have any gender discrimination anywhere. There may be certain issues from which the firms are trying to avoid, but they are all natural issues, so we cannot actually avoid that. You have every right to make a complaint about such things.
And it's not like to blame the firms or so. It's because their clients are such a way that a woman can't go to a client office and work, or maybe the woman can't go outstation and work for their clients. So maybe because of that reason, CA firms don't recruit females. So is there something like a policy that has to be made to the companies that women auditors are allowed, and there is a specific procedure where women auditors are allowed, and these guidelines are to be followed, or something like that for auditing or as well?
Yeah, see, actually, Aditi, you have asked a very, very practical question. But you know what? Everyone should understand that more than 46% of the CA students are girls. Okay? And these girls are going and, I would say, doing a fantastic job in all the clients' offices. But we also have to understand that there are some practical issues. Like, again, I tell you, I face this in my office. There was a girl articles whom we had sent to a corporate along. It was a team, and she was a part of the team. And what happened was this girl had gone there for an audit, and then after some time, she sent a mail to a partner saying, "Sir, sorry, I cannot go for this audit." And then he called her and asked her what happened, and then she said she has some issues. Then it came to me, and my partner said, "Why don't you even look after the girls in the office properly? She's having some issues." And then when I called her and asked her, she said, "Ma'am, I don't want to go. The manager who's supposed to, the Spock whom I'm supposed to interact with, is not making eye contact with me. He's looking at various places. He's looking down all over my body. I feel very uncomfortable." So then I asked her, "What do you want me to do?" This is something which even when I did my articles I faced. She said, "I don't want to go." Then I told her, "See, you don't run away from a problem. You face it. If you are going to say, I don't want to go to this audit because I feel uncomfortable with this man, then it is like you're giving him a license to do this to another girl. Don't do that. Face it up. So tomorrow when you go there and he's going to misbehave, tell him, 'Sir, look at me when you're talking. Make eye contact. Do not do all this. I will support you.' don't ever back down in situations like this. Always offense is the best form of defense in such situations. But I also had to ensure what I did. I called the other team members. I said, she cannot go alone into any room where these men are there. You guys have to accompany her, even if she's going to the washroom. If she doesn't come out within 2 or 3 minutes, I want you to go and see what happened to her. These are things which we have to be practical about. But what I would say is that these are situations where, we should learn. That is why, now, even when we do the Women's Day program, what we are telling is teach girls self-defense. Okay, learn self-defense. Learn to face situations. See, these situations are going to be there. We are going to face them. It's not everyone is going to be totally acceptable about all the girls coming and asking them questions. Face it, do it, but inform your principals that there are some problems here. I do not want to go here. Let them handle it. I called the client and told him, your manager is misbehaving with my students. I don't want that manager to even come near my students. Give me some other spot. I don't want that. So your principals will take the action. But you can also do this. Face up to it. Ask him what is your problem. If you ask him what is the problem right there, he will not have the guts to do it again. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We had a great session. So Hyderabad branch of SICASA wants to thank you by giving you a certificate of gratitude.
So sweet. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. It was my pleasure talking to you. Thank you. And I really appreciated the questions, Aditi.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving forward, the next speaker for this session is Aparna Surabhi ma'am. Aparna ma'am is currently working as CFO and CHRO in Caliber Technologies Private Limited. She is actively heading the CSR wing of Caliber Technologies Private Limited, working in the area of education, health and sustainable environment. Practicing chartered accountant from 1991 to 2019 in S. Aparna and Co. Chartered Accountant. She has 28 years of experience in handling the audit function. She was the first lady chairman of Hyderabad branch of ICAI the year 2006 to 7. She devises and conducts various quizzes as a hobby, and she is also a speaker on subjects of professional interest in various forums. She has also written articles on professional topics that were published in regional and national level. In this session, Madam would speak on the topic, who says finance is not for women?
Thanks, Aditi. First of all, thanks to the Hyderabad branch for inviting me for this session. So by the time I set up my presentation, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. You can enlarge the screen here.
Yeah. So very good evening to all of you. So before I just get into that topic, I would like to pay my homage to R. Shivabhogam because this is a special Women's Day program for CA students. We all should remember R. Shivabhogam, who was a trailblazer in chartered accountancy. She was the first woman chartered accountant in CA history. And she has a very great history to her. She is, like Revati has said, she's fought for her rights. She has participated in the non-cooperation movement and she had gone to jail for a year. And after coming back, she has passed the diploma in accountancy, the government diploma in accountancy, which is equivalent to the CA exam. And after she passed, she was not allowed to practice because she had a history of going to jail because of the non-cooperation movement. She has filed a petition that she should be allowed to practice because it was a participation in the freedom movement, and she fought it and won that, and she set up her own practice. So she is also very much respected because she was SIRC chairman for continuous 3 years, a feat which has been unparalleled till now. I'm sure that everyone is trying to get that 1 year itself in the council, And if she could do 3 years as chairman of the SIRC, that indeed is a wonderful feat. Yeah, I know, Aditi, the topic you gave me is finance for women. I said, why not? So I wanted to start my topic as finance. So just let me take you. So just one question to all of you. So when do you think women were first associated with business and finance? Any guesses? Do you think it was 200 years back, 300 years back, 400 years back? When do you think women were first associated with business and finance?
Maybe 300 years back.
Okay, any other guesses by the men? No guesses? There's not a quiz, no positive or negative marks, so you can always hazard a guess. Yeah, Revati, what do you think? When do you think women were first associated with business and finance?
I would say 400 years back, and maybe much before that also.
How much before that do you think?
I suppose right from the beginning, when the barter system came into place also, women would have played a major role then also. Women have always had a very aggressive, I think their position earlier was much better than what it was, a few years back.
Yeah, you're in a way right. So this is shocking but true. The first chronicled woman in business was in the year 1870 BC. So let me tell you how this came into light. In 1870 BC, there was a city of Assur, which is now in northern Iraq. Surprisingly, Iraq, which even today is so much a war battle, it's a strife-ridden area. So this was surprisingly in that place, in the northern Iraq city of Assur. There was a woman called Ahaha. So that's also, I really felt that's an aha moment in women's business history, I should say. Her name was Ahaha. So because of the war, all the men used to be on the battlefields fighting the war. All the women were left behind in these villages. So they had to run their homes and the home fires had to be kept burning. And there this lady has pulled in some investors and collected some silver, because silver was the currency there. And she has started a business of selling tin and textiles outside. And they used to send these by donkey caravans. And when she sent this by donkey caravans, they used to be sent to places where the men used to be there, and they would collect the silver for those goods and then send it back. So this lady, how this has come to light is, this lady lost some money in the business, and they used to use clay tablets then. So clay tablets were writing with sharp instruments on soft clay, and those were then dried and sent on donkey's back. It would take 6 weeks to deliver to the person who was nearest to them. So she has written a letter on a clay tablet, speaking or giving details of her transaction, saying that some money which was due to come has not come, and possibly there was a fraud which has been perpetrated by her own brother. So she has written this clay tablet to her brother. So we have a case of forensics also, which is dated back to 1870 BC. Okay. And this was written in a cuneiform script, which is a script which they used to use. And those tablets were found among 23,000 clay tablets which were excavated over so many decades in Turkey. So Turkey was the place where the men were and where the business was done from this place. So that the adversity in that place, or you can say the necessity for the women to don this role of running the home fires, made them businesswomen, female bankers and investors. And all these are chronicled in those 23,000 clay tablets, which were like the emails we exchanged now. those were the mails which they have exchanged in 1870 BC. So it is not that women were not in business or women were not knowing anything about finance. So it is just that we had not recognized them. Let me take you to some people whom we know who have reached the top. These people can inspire us to become like them. There are some lady CAs who have reached the top. Nainalal Kidwai, the first name which comes to all of us, is a well-known chartered accountant in the country, was group regional manager and country head of HSBC India. She was also the president of the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and FICCI. She was also Padma Shri recipient, and she is currently chairman of Max Financial Services. She is the first Indian woman graduate from the prestigious Harvard Business School. So she has been an inspiration to many. We'll have many such people. I think women, we don't have any dearth of women to inspire us. A lot of women chartered accountants also can really inspire us to do our best. We have one more, Divya Suryadevara. She is a Chennai-born person who has done chartered accountancy. She was appointed the first woman chief financial officer of American giant General Motors. So it is not that just in India, but even abroad, the chartered accountants have been recognized. So before moving to the US, she has pursued MBA in the Harvard Business School, and she's also a chartered financial analyst who began her career as a World Bank intern. I'm just giving you some examples so that we get a feel of how much women can achieve if they just set their minds to it. Nothing is impossible. Then we come to Chitra Ramakrishna. Chitra Ramakrishna is a chartered accountant who was the first woman managing director and CEO of the National Stock Exchange. So she worked at 2016. In fact, in our first Prerna, which we had in 2014 in Hyderabad, where the lady CA movement really got a very good boost, and we got a lot of good networking happening among the lady chartered accountants of Hyderabad. She was the first person we had tried to invite as a chief guest. Unfortunately, she was very busy and she could not, come for that. But that is when we really came to know about her, and we were really very much inspired by this woman achiever. She is currently an independent board director at the Chennai-based Maverick Systems, which is a technology partner in banking and telecom. Coming to some international stars, we have Kristalina Georgieva, who is currently the managing director of the IMF, and this is a position she took on from 1st October 2019. And before joining the fund, she was the CEO of the World Bank from January 17 to September 2019. So she also served as the interim president of the World Bank Group for 3 months. One more lady, Maggie Lena Walker, is an African American businesswoman and teacher, and the first African American woman to charter a bank and serve as its president in the United States. So if you just go through history, there are a lot of women who have walked this path, who have really shown how they can be successful. They might have had something special which it takes to make it to the top, but I think it's not something which we all can't emulate. So we can actually take these people as torchbearers for us. Say, why not finance for women? Women can be in the forefront of finance. In fact, if you take the home front, they are at the forefront of finance, even though they don't get their due fully because they may be managing all the finances. But when it comes to property being in their name, lots of times it is just for tax saving or something like this, but it is never for really giving her the right to a property. It's very rarely for that. So I think these are some things which societal change needs to be brought about. Let me take you through some important statistics on women. If you take the financial sector, in fact, if you take women's liberation, or if you say take women in industry, you will find that finance and insurance has been the sector where women's share has been really growing year after year. So in fact, finance is looking to be a more attractive avenue for women. And now, of course, with the engineering boom which has come here, the software boom, a lot of women are getting into that field as well. But if you take from a global perspective, the women's share of employment in financial and insurance activities is very high. So if you take the gender gap, which is there in other industries compared to other industries, the financial and insurance activities, the gap is less. the gender gap is less. So if you see the industry, if you see the countries here, Australia 48.6%, Brazil 49.9%, France is 56.6%, Germany is 51.3%. If you see most of the developed countries which are there are all having a percentage of almost 50%. But India is still lagging. Of course, this is 2018. We might have probably bettered on this now. So India is only having 16.8% in financial and insurance activities. So I'm sure that this figure is going to change a lot. And it is also possible that compared to all the other industries, I don't have the complete details of all the other, the participation of the gender gap in all the other industries. But compared to the world, India is behind as far as women in financial insurance is concerned. And let us take this figure from the other side. Well, let us take CA profession, for example. If you take the CA profession, when I finished my CA, there were hardly 10% of women in the profession. I wouldn't say even 10%. The number of women chartered accountants was, I think, around 10%. So where in 2010-11, this figure went up to 20%. It shot up to 20%. After that, even though the number of students every year has been growing, today's percentage stands at around 26%. So it is still, I should say, way behind its potential. We have a lot of ground to cover to see that we come to an even better share of the total chartered accountant population. But of course, going from the level we were in the last 15-20 years, we have really made great strides and women in finance have come on more strongly. So of course, when we talk of insurance and financial, it's not just the chartered accountants who are there, but they are majorly dominated by the chartered accountants. So this is one ratio which we should look at correcting. So let us also go through some other pertinent facts. So it's not just being in the financial sector or being a clerk or something which is going to help in seeing that the gender gap is reduced. So let us see how leadership is affected. So according to the studies conducted by the World Economic Forum and Harvard Business School and various other organizations on gender gaps, 46% of financial service employees globally, if you take the global average, 46% of financial services employees are women. But if you take the executive level, that is the leadership level or the senior management level, it is only 15%. And even that 15% is only 12% in the large cap firms and 34% in mid cap firms. So this is also a percentage which can be a worrying one. Because if you have 46% of the total financial services employees, probably our leadership levels also could have been similar to that percentage, or we should have at least come to that percentage. If, as Revati had said, that we had equal opportunities, equal pay, and there were no discrimination, then we should have had equal opportunities for growth even in leadership roles. But what is strikingly seen is that among senior roles in venture capital and private equity, the women held just 9% and 6% of the positions, which was even lower than the other financial services. So yes, it is not that finance is not for women. But then why are women not able to get into leadership roles in finance? Or not many women are able to get in. So this is something we need to work on. So gender equality in the finance industry, if you take it compared to other fields like medicine or academia, gender equality in finance industry is behind other fields. So this is something which we as chartered accountants and women chartered accountants should work on to really bridging this gap and see that we get more gender equality. So lots of times it's not only to do with the laws. We may have a lot of laws in place to empower. But how much are we making use of those laws? So how are we making use of them to further our careers? So what is seen in these studies is that women and men begin parity at the start of their careers in finance. But the C-suite or the CEO, CFO suite is still predominantly male. And this is something I would like to see a big change in. And I'm sure that there will be a big change too, because we can see that because the number of women chartered accountants who are coming out, chartered accountants are most suited for the C-suite role in industries and financial sector in particular. So I'm really hoping to see a lot of women CFOs in the near future. Some of the other interesting facts too. According to S&P Global Research paper, which was published in 2019, they studied some firms in the US and they gave some astonishing results. So what they found was the performance of firms that have made female appointments to their CEO and CFO positions offer evidence that female executives have outperformed relative to their male peers. So they have performed even better than their male peers. This was based on a study of some firms which had female CEO and CFO positions and with some firms which had male in those positions. So the firms with female CFOs also drove more value appreciation, better defended profitably modes and delivered excess risk adjusted returns for their firms. So not only did they outperform, they drove more value appreciation in the companies and better profitability was observed in the companies where they were CFOs. And also they observed that firms with female CEOs and CFOs have produced superior stock price performance as well compared to the market average. So when we see all this, again, like the question comes, why not finance for women? Why are women not in those leadership roles for which they have every right to be in and also they are qualified to be in? And they have shown and proved that they can be better also at that job. So they have interpreted some of these results too on why is it that women have not reached that level or leadership levels in companies. So it is one part to be just ordinarily being in the finance departments and another part to rise high in that department. So the interpretation of the results of the S&P the study was that female executives were held to a higher standard by companies' board of directors. You all must have heard saying that a woman has to work twice as much to get half the recognition which a man gets. So this is also something which is an eye-opener. I had heard this long back and it always intrigued me. It not only intrigued me, it pained me actually. So why is it that females have to do double the work to get half the recognition? So this is because when they are given a leadership position, they expect a lot from them. So they are very unkind to any fault by a woman. And we must have seen this, it's a common thing for us to have noticed that when a woman does something, they're all very quick to pounce on that and say, yeah, I told you we shouldn't have had a woman. So this is what is human perception. We need to change that. They're held to a higher standard by the company's board of directors than male counterparts. And hence, they're also, in a way, you can say, duty bound to perform to that higher standard. And women do perform to a higher standard. So women have a different approach to money and investing also. When a woman has to take care of someone else's money, it is a general, I think it's a social conditioning maybe, that they are extra careful. So they will try to be more good at their job than a man would take care to handle money which belongs to others. So when we are a CFO, we are actually handling money belonging to others, right? So that's one approach. And also they have a different approach to women and investing. A lot of women who have, you can say, uncanny knack of doing a balancing act when it comes to managing money and investing. And that comes as a natural risk, I feel. So women have a lower risk appetite than men and follow a more cautious approach. So they try to avoid losses. These were all parts of the study which came up on why is it that women perform better or firms with women as CFOs perform better. They also saw on the other side that it had nothing to do with the study shows up that it may not have been only because of the female appointment, but it could have been that the firms which had higher earnings quality, the quality of earnings, not only higher earnings, and who had lower leverage were firms which had a culture which was conducive to making a female appointment. And wherever diversity and inclusion were features, the culture of the firm was also high, and so the firm could go from ordinary to extraordinary. So one more point here which we can observe is, wherever we are, if we are able to bring in diversity and inclusion, then we can lift the ordinary to the extraordinary. So if we are in any firm, we should see that we bring in these features or infuse these cultures, infuse this into the culture of the firm, so that we are able to achieve extraordinary results. So why do I think that women can do better in finance? As we have all seen, women are doing much better academically in all spheres, and notably in finance, including CA. So why is this so? Men, as in the industry, in academics too, there are a lot of distractions women are more focused on their studies, they work hard. And of course, they are also conditioned by society. Like I said, the expectation from them is much high compared to the boys. So women are doing much better academically in all spheres, and this is what is going to help them really do much better in finance. And that is why I'm very, very optimistic of more women getting into higher roles in finance in the near future. And for most women, finance is not about just money. It is about making a difference. If you ask any CFO, if their goal was that they should turn 100 million company into a 200 million company, I don't think that would be the goal of any woman CFO. They would always have spoken of how they would want that business to make a difference in the world, difference in the industry. So this is an aspect which we need to take into account. For most women, finance is not just money. It is about making a difference to society also. So, of course, we have heard umpteen quotes, isn't it? So if you educate a man, you educate a person. But if you educate a woman, you educate a family. So it is because they spread that the good parts of their education to others. So similarly, when a woman is appointed in a leadership role in finance, they can really make a difference to society. The other thing about women is they are maybe socially conditioned. I'm not a judge to say whether hormonally they are fully focused and passionate about work, but it is that they are made more responsible or made to feel that they are supposed to be responsible. From childhood itself, we are given, like Revati has already said, a lot of sets restrictions that this is the way we need to behave, this is how we can go out, whereas the same restrictions are not put to the men. So women are fully focused and passionate about what is to be done by them, and hence they tend to achieve the results they set out to achieve. In our company, in our software company, we have had a lot of teams made which have goals. But we have observed, and this is a real story I'm telling you, we have observed that whenever goals have been given to women, they have really gone about with double the energy, and they have been able to achieve the results. So, and whenever they have faced any hurdles in that, they have not given up the goals, but they have been very proactive in coming up and trying to tell us what should be done in order for them to achieve the goals. So they are really fully focused, and this is something which I have observed too in my working with women. And most women are cautious in approach, and they try to take all things into consideration in any decision. It's not only about themselves. They try to take they take a decision which is balanced, considering all the other aspects which might affect the decision or which may affect the result of the decision as well. I think women are afraid of the result of a decision sometimes because, like I said, they are always when they are on the limelight, it is all the more important for them to be really cautious in approach, because the first fault they make, people pounce on them. So this is a reality which we have to accept, and that's we need to even fight it out. I'll just tell you, even though it's not related to, we know that Angela Merkel, recently she has stood down from politics, from Germany. We know how she has led Germany so far. And she is a person who has constantly stuck to her goal. So she has not tried for personal glamour. She has not tried to get personal attention. So she has been a person, and I think even though she's not related to finance as such, I just wanted to get that. Because I just read a WhatsApp post about her. I thought it's really pertinent that, I just quote it here. So during her 18 years of leadership, and mind you, she has been the longest standing leader in German history. During the 18 years of leadership and authority in her country, no transgressions were recorded against her. She did not assign any of her relatives a secretariat. She did not claim that she was the maker of glories. She did not get millions out of her work, nor did she need anyone to cheer her life. She did not receive charters and pledges. She did not fight those who preceded her and did not dissolve her. She did not utter nonsense. She did not appear in the alleys of Berlin to be photographed. And she is a woman who was dubbed the Lady of the World and was described as the equivalent of 6 million men. So if Angela Merkel could do it, I am sure there are a lot of Angela Merkels among us. And one of the things which I would say, I mean, I'm not trying to generalize the statement, but most women have a lot of integrity in them. Integrity, it's not only honesty about honesty and ethics, but integrity about their work. And that is what will help them really, actually do much better if they are given those leadership positions. Some adversities in the workplace, like already Revati has spoken of some of them. There is a real discrimination with regard to elevation of roles. And one of the things is organizations always tend to overestimate men's performance. And this is true. And in our company, we always try to fight this because it is a tendency to overestimate men's performance and their potential. So always whenever a man is elevated, they are elevated or promoted based on potential. But when it comes to women's performance, it is only going based on track record. So this is a lot of organizations do this, and we have to make a conscious effort to break this discrimination which happens. Discrimination with regard to pay, anyhow, I think Revati has spoken of, and the sexual harassment possibilities. I will not go into this because already Revati has given extensively and very clearly told about all these adversities which are there in the workplace, and which we have to be prepared and fight them. And it's not that we should be afraid of them or intimidated by them and then back out of what is rightfully ours or where we can rightfully reach. One of the biggest adversity in the workplace is the men's clubs, where women don't become a part or they're unable to break through into these men's clubs. These men's clubs are really, they are a reality. We have to see whenever we get into senior positions or senior management positions, they become a cartel sort of thing, and then it becomes very difficult to break that. And this is something which we should be aware of and really learn, like Abhimanyu's Chakravyuh, how to break into these men's clubs. I think we need to learn as women if we have to reach higher in our career. What do we need to work upon? The first thing I would say is fighting our internal demons. A lot of times we restrict ourselves, we bring down ourselves, or we have this imposter phenomena or imposter complex which we come into. So whenever a higher role is offered to us, a man wouldn't think twice about it, or they would think they're entitled to it. But when a woman gets that, they will start getting, am I really good enough? Will I be able to do better? So these are the things, self-questioning, which happens because of the social conditioning which has happened, where we always are forced to think about whether we are good enough for a role or whether we'll be able to do justice. So we need to fight our internal demons here, have more confidence in ourselves, increase our self-esteem. And that is what we all women need to work on, whether we are chartered accountants or whether we are in any profession for that matter. The other thing is not being able to ask for more or negotiate for ourselves. So whenever we have to ask for more, we think either they may think we are being too aggressive or we are being too money-minded. But actually we are supposed to ask for what we deserve. Not saying that we should ask for what we don't deserve. What we deserve, we should definitely be able to ask. The law is there for us. There is supposed to be equal pay paid. So we should be able to ask for what we are doing. So not having enough self-belief, I already told you, a lot of women undervalue their talents and are overcritical of themselves. They keep criticizing themselves a lot, and that is what pulls them back. Another important thing is not being able to say no when the situation demands. This is something, these two letters can make a difference a lot of times. You have to be able to say no when the situation demands that you should say a no. The other thing is to pace out personal and professional goals and sacrifice accordingly. Yes, in a woman's life, there are a lot of other roles which we might have to perform, the most important one being of a mother. And due to social conditioning and due to this, in a way, I'll tell you what Pankaj Trivedi said, you have Lakshmi, you have Saraswati and all this. This personification of a goddess, it is most when it comes to a mother. All these they are called mothers. But that is sometimes what actually chains you in a way. So I think that we need to break out of those chains in a way. We are not superwoman or God. We are human beings. And like yesterday's chief guest said, it is enough if people take us as human beings. We women also should not be trying to play superwoman all the time, especially when it comes to our families. And that is where we will be able to give time to ourselves or time which is due to ourselves, take care of our profession, our health, and give that me time. So yes, Aditi, to answer your gap, there is a gender gap in the finance industry, but women are blazing a trail and things are getting better. So what we need to do is we need to be unapologetic in fighting for what we deserve. So we can always have a family and grow our career. So it doesn't mean that we have to choose one for the other. So yeah, that's all from my side. So to answer your question, women in finance is very much possible.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You proved us with the facts that yes, it is possible and it is being done. Women are there in finance and doing very well. So I have a question. In a lot of cases, there are two sides of the story. Like you have expressed about women who are very passionate and doing good in finance. There are women who don't make their own decisions, but maybe due to hearing from their parents or some cousins, they join CA and just be in it, and they don't feel like continuing it, or maybe due to their lower performance, is it being said that women are not suitable for finance? Is that the situation in the industry? Will that impact?
That impacts any industry for that matter. So because in CA, the entry level is very easy. So the initial entry level anyone can get through. It's the exit which is very difficult. So in suppose parents tell a daughter that she has to be a doctor. Yeah, maybe she will try. But the entry level is a little difficult. So they get filtered out initially itself. But in CA, that may not happen. But it is not true that, because of that, we can say that women are not suitable for finance. There could be a lot of boys also for whom it is the same. If you see the number of girls passing and out of the total pass percentage and the number of people failing as well, you'll see a lot of boys also fail, isn't it? There are a lot of boys who will stop CA in between. So do we say that boys, their finance is not for boys? We don't, isn't it? So why do we single out the girls? We have to change this social condition. This could happen to any industry. There are so many people who are forced into engineering. They are not good engineers at all. They don't know anything about engineering. They might have finished their BTech course. I have seen a lot of people because we run a software company. I see equal number of boys as girls. So I think that question should not come because of girl or boy. We should stop asking that question.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
From Hyderabad branch of SICASA, we would like to present you a certificate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a great session.
Thank you.
Moving forward, we have our next speaker for the session, MS Rajambal, a chartered accountant with more than 15 years of experience. He also got post-qualification diploma in customs audit and is also an expert in international taxation, apart from having diploma in IFRS from ACCA UK. A result-driven professional with excellent analytical and communication skills. She is also associated as resource person with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, IndusInd Bank, Entertainment and Event Management Association at COWE. Her key areas of success include being associated as a consultant for the Foundation of MSME Alib, as a chief financial advisor, mentor for IIIT, and also rendered many philanthropic and voluntary works for fundraising and projects. She has been elected as a SICASA chairperson of Hyderabad branch of SIRC of ICAI from 2019 to 20, and currently she is elected as treasurer of Hyderabad branch of SIRC of ICAI. She was rewarded with many awards like Outstanding Woman Achiever Award from Nizam Club, Woman Achiever Award from Vision KCR Foundation, and Woman Achiever Award in Professional category from Brahman Business Network Hyderabad. For this session, I request Rajampal ma'am to give her valuable advice to the future chartered accountant.
Thanks a lot, Aditi, for calling me. I and Central Council member Daniva sir, Regional Council member Revati ma'am, and a good friend Aparna ma'am, who's always been inspiration and been my mentor throughout my, especially last 5-7 years that Prerna has been there. She's been a mother figure for most of women chartered accountants in Hyderabad. It's a great honor to share dais with you and be speaking here, ma'am. And branch managing committee colleagues of Hyderabad branch and all the CA students, aspiring chartered accountants, to be a very warm weekend evening. And I was asked to give my words of wisdom to young people in the profession. When I have to talk to youngsters, I actually feel very, very scared because I have 2 teenagers at home, and whatever I speak comes, technically it backfires at me. In one or the other way, as a mother, maybe I just end up keeping quiet and saying, do what you want to. But when it comes to standing up and giving advice to other young in profession, that's a different ball game. I realize that I can't take it as casually as I say to my children, do it as you like. So I was like disturbed when Aditi said, this is my topic. I said, oh my God, now I have got to go back and think and note down all the mistakes that I have made in my life, and then try to advise people out of my mistakes, would it be right to do it or not. Although I've tried to put together a few words together, and Aparna ma'am and Revati ma'am, please feel free to chip in and help me wherever needed. One thing in this world we have to know, whether it is a man, a boy, or a girl, or a woman, the more ambitious you are, the more hardworking you should be. In life, the achievement of your ambitions is directly proportional to the hard work you do. And there is no shortcut to it for being a woman, or there is no discount for it being a woman, especially in a CA course. We all, by our choice, have joined which does not have any kind of reservation. You generally, when you want to get a doctor, you say a lady doctor or a man doctor. You don't see, you're sick, you need to go to a doctor, and you will end up going to a doctor without looking at the gender of the doctor. It is only the seriousness, the parity of the time that determines whoever is the professional available, we will reach out to them. So is any professional course. There cannot be a gender-based preferential, choice given to a person. I have always felt that a chartered accountant is a chartered accountant. being women, you have to manage a lot of things. How do you manage all those things? As an advice, I can tell, and I will be able to help you in maybe advising one-on-one also eventually. But please understand, there can be never ever a discount given on your professionalism because of you being a woman. You have to be more than 100% every day at work for you to be very, very successful. That is the first piece of advice that will come from me to the youngsters. Ma'am, I'm right when I'm saying this, right? We've never ever got any discount for being a woman. Although there will be a lot of places and a lot of situations where people will respect you more, I will go on as I narrate that story. People will judge you. People around you, whether you are successful or not. Even if you are a homemaker, they will judge you. Even if you are a street vendor, they will judge you. Even if you are a chartered accountant, they'll judge you. People will judge you. It should not affect you. You have to be very, very, very straight in your mind and be focused on what you're doing and not at all not at all be disturbed by how people are judging you. In everybody's life, whether it be mine, Aparna ma'am's or Revati ma'am's, there have been so many times that people have completely misjudged us, and it comes back to us saying that this is how it seems you have done, and we feel very upset about it. It upsets that people could think so bad about it. People could interpret a situation in a completely other than scenario. But trust me, it is not only for women. Men are also judged. And the successful people are the ones who do not let this judgment of others disturb them or distract them from their path. These are very, very, very important things, whether you are a man or a woman. These two things, I think, it comes as a part of professional responsibilities to us. Now, let me come and address as to what will be my advice to women in the profession. Of late, my interaction with a lot of chartered accountants, and especially the new committee where two-thirds is women and one-third is man for a boy for Hyderabad SICASA and Team SICASA. I've just enjoyed working with the energy of Aditi and Manpreet, and Praveed also is a good boy. But yeah, today here I had to mention that we are two-thirds women, and till last term where I was also SICASA chairperson, I think we're 3/4 women in Team SICASA Hyderabad. Now with ACS coming in, it has come to half and half. But now I can say that there is no gender parity there. We are in majority. But my interaction with girls, especially girl students and others around, I have realized that the fear of missing out is there predominantly in girl students. Younger girls, there is a huge fear from your within, which actually is not letting you choose the right path at the right time. Timing is very important in life in most of our situations, okay? You might do the right thing, but there's no point in doing the right thing 10 years later where it should have been done 10 years earlier. So this fear of missing out has to be eliminated. Self-confidence has to go up. How it has to go up, each one of you will have to figure out. You have to do some soul searching, some sitting and talking with yourself, or like picking up a role model, learning more about them, understanding more about them. But this fear of missing out, no, we don't want to do CA very seriously because it might take 5 years, 8 years, and we might miss out on other things. We don't want to be going and working, doing articleship in ABC firm because the work stress is more and I might miss out on studying. This fear of missing out is there at every crossroad, and every crossroad this fear of missing out is increasing and increasing a lot. No, I don't want to be looking at an option of getting married even if it is even after I qualify or till I qualify, because I might not be able to do it. You have to take a decision based on the situation of one question, not on the fear of missing out of the other question. It cannot be a weighted average decision. It is not mathematics. It is not a weighted average probability. You have to understand and assess each and every question as an individual question rather than putting everything together as a plate of salad. When you do this, the fear of missing out reduces. I have seen that this generation, the millennial generation, which is coming in now, there is a huge fear of missing out. I think each one of you would have to sit down and understand if you have that syndrome, and it has to be addressed. Because in long run, this syndrome will not let you work with an independent mind and a free mind. That will become all your habits become your characters, like it is said. If you have this syndrome, you have to address it. That is the first advice that I would like to give. The very important thing that I like to tell women, maybe I'll put a little bit of personal touch of my personal life here. The biological clock of a woman and career clock, they are not in synchrony at all. And especially if you choose a field like CA, they are not in synchrony at all. You have to understand that you cannot be young forever. You're going to age. So you have got to understand the effort that you are going to put into your ambition has to be directly proportional to your ambition. You cannot be sitting and saying that yesterday the chief guest, she was an amazing woman. I so much wish that students could also interact with her. She said, my target was to become DGM of an insurance company and from there retire as that. And she's a member IRD and she came in as a chief guest. She's reached a height which she never thought also that in her career life that could be another milestone. But what milestone she has put for herself, she worked so hard towards it that it came on very early to her rather than when she thought she would achieve it when retired. This is what I'm trying to tell. You have to put those milestones in place and try to achieve, because a woman's biological clock, biologically a woman would need more number of breaks when compared to a man. This is proven worldwide. You will have to slow down when you are trying to adapt to something new. You will have to slow down when you are going through your maternity phase and other things. You will have to slow down. You have to choose to do it. So when you know that you're going to have a small speed breakers and you've got to slow down your car when it is going on that speed breaker bump, rather catch up speed before you get there. So when you slow down there, you actually don't slow down, but whereas you come into the race along with the others at that time. I personally have felt that doing it faster earlier and then breaking at speed breaker, you eventually come along into the race. You might not be the race leader, but you definitely are still in the race. But if you're just in the race and not ahead of others in the race, and then you have to, slow down because of a speed breakers like this, then you have to lay down all your milestones. Meticulously work towards achieving them faster. That is very, very, very important. And that is one thing which I wanted to, tell that these milestones, the earlier that you lay down in your life and the faster you start working towards these milestones, the easier it is going to be for you to achieve. And a lot of youngsters ask me, what would you, what is good for a young professional, whether being in the industry or being in practice? And I'm damn sure, people are definitely writing down points to ask some question like this. And I'll tell you, I'm completely unqualified to answer this question because I have never been in the industry. I know only practice. It was always a dream to start on own, do everything on own, and have something called as some establishment, some legacy which would exist for me till I live and even after I live. So that with that dream, I have always had practice. I cannot be able to tell you whether this is good or that. But once again, I'll go back to the answer that I've given go back to the previous point only. I had set a milestone and I had started working on those milestones. And this was the only path that I had set for myself, and I started walking on my path. I have never had any delusions regarding the career option that I wanted to be in. And I also wanted to give a very advice, but Revati ma'am already spoke a lot on that, so I would not like to emphasize on that. But yes, advice to the young people at workforce, young women at workforce is speak about sexual abuse if it exists. It is very, very important. You have to safeguard your modesty. You have to safeguard yourself. You have to speak out when you actually suspect some kind of a sexual abuse happening towards you. It happens, it more or less, almost, I would say, 8 out of 10 women working would have faced it in one or the other form, in one or the other way during her working career, at least once. What you are, how you choose to react to it becomes very important. It is very natural that these things intimidate us. When it happened to me, these things intimidated me also. These are more than intimidating. They are a very, very painful feeling even to remember. And they are the most hurtful things that could have happened to you, even to think about. Yes, but if you keep it inside your heart, you're not doing any good to you. So I always say that you should have courage to speak against the sexual abuse that you are facing. That is something which nobody ever taught us. Maybe a professionalism, the courage, the self-confidence that we carried, and we stood up to it and said, hello, this is not possible. But for you now, you have a legal mechanism around it, and world is more sensitive about this issue now. It is not like earlier where people would not speak up, but you cannot keep all of these things to yourself. You cannot keep it in your heart, and you will need help. And luckily, people sitting in Hyderabad, you have a lot of help from government of Telangana in the form of SHE teams and others, or otherwise you have a lot of help outside also. You always have people like me there. You can just reach out. We will see what best we can do to help you. But every city, every place has an ecosystem where these things and these situations are heard. Please speak out. Do not sit quiet and let it become a habit to the other person. Now, these are the things which I told are important for you from point of view of asking. From point of view of asking, I'll say, never ask before you give. I have seen this syndrome of, I don't get this, I don't get this, I don't get this. I hear it a lot from especially the younger. No, they are not going to understand. No, we are not going to get this. No, this is not going to happen. No, I can't be doing this at my workplace. No, they will not like it. just stop that no syndrome. Give it yourself 100%. Ask, yes, I need this. This has to be done. Whether in a professional front or in a personal front, ask it. It will be done. It will be given to you. We generally don't tend to ask. We try to have this thinking, no, if I ask, it is going to be rejected. Whether it our household thing. No, if I ask this, it is going to be rejected by my brother, by my mother, by my friend, or, by my boss. Don't ever think. Unless you step out, it might be rejected. I'm not saying only because you ask you will get it. It might be rejected, but definitely it will be discussed before it is rejected. You will understand how to put your point forward, or how you were wrong and the other person was right. But if you don't give yourself into it, if you don't ask for it from others, from help, or some kind of a situational issue that you need to ask help for, if you don't ask, it is not going to come to you. You have to understand that asking is very, very important in life. And one last thing before I conclude, I would like to tell all people who are listening to it. You work 8 hours a day, you'll be promoted to work 10 hours a day. You work 10 hours a day, you'll be promoted where you'll be working 12 hours a day. You work 12 hours a day, you'll be promoted to the next level and you'll have to do more work. When you get promoted, it doesn't mean that you will be just paid higher. The responsibility will also be higher. So be very, very smart when you choose a thing for yourself. You can't say, I want to be promoted and I want to work less. No, that is not going to happen. This is the case whether it is a man or a woman. These things that are not going to happen. You have to understand that how much ever you give, same is what world will give it back to you. You have to give your undivided. See, when Daniva sir was saying how Revati madam attended the committee meeting even on the wedding day of her son. Am I right, ma'am? You have to give it. She chose to get into the council. She chose the work for herself. And she cannot shy away saying that it is not possible for me to come. You choose something. You have to give it extra time. Whether it is a man or a woman. It is not going to come to you free of cost or at a discounted price. I don't want to scare you a lot with all the wisdom that I have in 1 hour. So we will try to keep it light. Any questions anyone has with regard to a professional advice or an advice in terms of personal way, I'm here to answer. I mean, all the three of us are here to take the questions.
Ma'am, we have a question from YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times women actually are the enemies of women, like maybe in workplace or when it is a team, especially when it is a team working. Like lot of times there are disagreements only between the woman and the woman. So how these young people have to handle it and move forward as a team?
Connectivity is lost for us.
Yeah, I guess Rajamal ma'am's connectivity is poor. Let's wait if she'll come back.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, I'll just tell you what I feel, and maybe Aparna ma'am can also.
Yeah, sure.
Give her opinion. I think it's little cliched that woman is another woman's worst enemy. We should first put that away. You look at the other woman as your peer. Okay, look at her as your peer, and then take a look at her actions. I think Rajam is back. Over to Rajam.
Yeah, sorry, got logged off. Yeah. So the question was, Aditi, can you come back?
Yes, ma'am. So the question was a lot
Ma'am,
of
you were
times.
responding to the question? Devti
No,
ma'am, you.
but Rajam, please take it. It was for you. Take it.
No, okay. Yeah, Aditi, go ahead.
So a lot of times women are for another woman. So maybe in a team or in the workplace, when they work together, it's like they face disagreements only from another woman. So what is your opinion about how young people should deal with it and get over it?
Whoever told you this is completely misinformed, because I think at the workplace, women encourage each other a lot, and women cover up for the other women's requirement also, and women actually come forward to help other women, encourage in all other possibilities. Whoever told this women go against women in some form has completely misinformed you. I completely do not agree with this statement. Yes, there could be a small form of jealousy, but that is faded off the moment you are a professional. The form of jealousy against the other women around you, or women, I think it is there only in mid-teenagers, beyond which I don't think so. I've never come across also that beyond which it exists. See, even in my case, if you look at when I wanted to do something or get into something or have issues and doubts even in professional way or anything, people I reach out to are like, for last 7-8 years, ma'am, Aparna ma'am, I've been troubling you, I've been a menace in your life.
Of course not.
She's been there, supportive, ma'am, this is happening, ma'am, this is how it is, ma'am, should we be doing this? I think they become best of the friends, and they are like two runners at crease. Each one will help others. I don't know who asked that question. Maybe they're completely taken it in a wrong way. Ma'am, correct me if I'm wrong when I'm saying this.
You're right. Actually, in a profession, it depends on how we give also. It's always a give and take, right? So it depends. It's from both sides. So every woman first should not get into this mode of the other woman being a competitor to her. Competition is everywhere. It can be a man or a woman. Then the professionals, even I have not faced this, at least. I think it's this information. I have not faced any woman who has brought me down. In personal families, it sometimes happens. A lot of that is to do with social conditioning. So if a mother is placing more restrictions on the daughter, and it's more to do with the way they have been brought up. So those perceptions need to be changed. And when they are explained, a lot of things get set right. So even in the mothers-in-law, actually, that is one of the questions people feel, that the mothers-in-law are the great, they are the ones who trouble the daughters-in-law. It's not like that. It's a matter of building a relationship, and I think it works both ways. Both of them need to work on any relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. Even I agree. I agree that, this perceptions should change. Women are women's best friends, okay? I could not have come to this level if I didn't have a support system full of women. I tell you, in fact, I did tell my daughter a few months back, I think it's better you get married to a woman. You need a wife. Okay, your success is that much easier. And within your professional levels also, peer to peer, I don't think that a woman is going to put down another woman, okay? Like Rajam said, I have a support system of professional women. I have a doubt, I go ask them. I have an issue, I ask them, and they all support me, and it's all very cliched. We are going back to that. Don't listen to them. Women are women's best friends, professionally and personally. If my mother-in-law had not supported me at home, I would not have come to this stage, okay? I had a support system back to look after my children. I was confident I can leave my kids at home. Okay, you need that kind of confidence. Even this mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, like how Aparna ma'am said, it's how you develop the relationship. Give and take. Rajam has been emphasizing give and take. Unless you give, you can never take. Give and expect something back in return. It'll come back on its own. You don't even need to expect it. So women are always women's best friends. Don't even take in the fact that they are your worst enemies. No, they are your best friends. It depends
Don't
on
even
what you think that later.
don't even think about it. Don't let such questions come to us. Never.
Yes.
Never.
And one more thing, ma'am. After like lot of females face this, that after a 2 to 3 attempts when they fail, their parents themselves don't encourage to pursue the course, or they say like get married and just settle down. So what are your thinking about how do we convince parents? Or
Okay, I will try to once again, give a very different answer to this. First time after you have failed in a CA exam, what have you done differently next time is more important for you to ask yourself. You are trying to do the same thing and expect a different result. That is not going to happen. Have you tried to change yourself to suit to the competitiveness of the exam? Most of the students whom I have come across, they don't try to do that. They try to sit, study. But no, hello, you have sat through, you've studied it, you went and written an exam and you haven't got through. You have to first understand where your exam paper has gone wrong. You have to then understand where your preparation has gone, presentation has gone wrong. Okay, then you have to understand where your preparation has gone wrong. Please explain it to yourself first. And then you will know you have to say the same things to your family. Because if you have put in a thought into your failure, they understand how passionate you are about succeeding the next time. It is not just telling, give me 6 more months. That will not work after 2-3 attempts. Very simple. It has to be, when your generation, definitely 9 out of 10, you have educated parents. And if you sit down with them, put forward your analytics about your result, it is going to be a better conversation with your parents.
Yeah, I think it's a more positive situation now with families also. So families are very understanding, and I don't think they'll just try to make and discourage them to stop after 2-3 attempts because for marriage at least. I don't think. I mean, it's in very few cases. But way back when we were studying, people would not even want us to get into the CA course because it takes 10 years or 5 years to complete. So the marriage.
Then you have to find a more educated boy.
Yes.
So cliche.
So there were so many other things which are missing now. You don't need those kind of explanations or excuses anymore.
Women are smarter. They don't want more educated boy or
what you both say. In fact, my family was very reluctant that I should take up CA because they didn't want me to be highly qualified. They'll have to search for a groom who's better qualified than me.
Yeah.
And they ensured that I got married before I completed the course. But then, it is internal. You have, like Rajam said, you set your milestones. I wanted to be independent. I wanted to be a professional. I ensured that I completed within 2 months of marriage. I wrote the exam and I completed. I had that internal thing. I want to do it. You need to want to do it. I think that you should not use your parents as excuses. Like Rajam said, fix your milestone, analyze where you went wrong, change the way that you approach the exam. You'll definitely clear. You want to do something, you'll definitely do it. Okay?
You have a hunger in your belly.
Yeah.
You have a hunger in your belly. That's
important. That is the only thing which has pushed us forward. That zeal to do something. The zeal when you wake up in the morning to till you do something, and that has to be there constantly every day.
It has to come from within you.
Yeah.
And one more, we have a personal question that from a girl saying that she faces a situation in her office where how much ever equally she works with the article student like boys who are there, she is not being recognized, and instead she is getting a criticism saying that तुमको समझ में नहीं आएगा, तुम बच्ची हो, kind of things. So how do an article student deal with it?
Okay, this is a very vague thing given. You know, I will, before even judging, तुमको समझ में नहीं आता, तुम बच्ची हो, I have to understand the scenario. I have to understand for what that kind of answer has come and what has been a precedence for somebody to say such a big thing. You know, it is not that you're going to a village and you're going and working under rustic who's not educated. It is not like that. You're also going and working under a professional in a professional environment. I actually have to understand what is the precedence, what has happened in that entire scenario that she's been put off like that. Unless I get a hand to a precedence that gives me understanding as to who's right or wrong, where the situation has gone wrong, so that we can address it. It's kind of vague. Maybe if she wants to get in touch personally and talk about it, I'm always available. I'm open for it. You can share my number with her, Aditi. I can go and talk to her, or because sitting now and just listening to that one statement, I can't go and say no, nobody can say these things to you. Who is it? Tell me name. I'll tell. No, I can't do that. I have to understand the depth of that story before I address it. I'm sorry, I will not answer it like that.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Sir, we have a token of appreciation for you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It is so beautiful, done up very smartly.
Very innovative.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Aditi.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And anytime any of you need us, I'm available in Hyderabad to speak as a career guidance, as an elder sister, as a motherly figure. I'm available. Please reach out to me. You have any of these issues where you don't want to stand outside and speak amongst other people, please reach out to me. I'm always available. You know, Aditi, I'm there. You can just tell your friends. Yeah. Yeah, you can just tell your friends. It's okay. So that's the thing. Anything else?
That's it, ma'am. Let's end the session. Thank you so much, Rajangal ma'am, Revati ma'am, and Aparna ma'am for joining us today. We really had a great session. We all enjoyed, and we've learned a lot from this session. It was great having you. Thank you so much.
It was our pleasure.
But you did everything well.
It was great actually sharing the time you, Revati, and Aparna ma'am.
Madam, thank you so much for on behalf of the entire management committee of Hyderabad branch, and definitely we'll invite you one more time for especially for the women chartered accountants. Why? Because you are the great inspiration for those who are pursuing our chartered accounts of women. And when we are going to conduct the physical meeting, that time one more time we'll invite you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I also thank you from behalf of Hyderabad branch, ma'am. It was very great interacting with you, Revati ma'am, and we will also definitely have more and more programs involving and addressing issues like this going forward. We would also like to get you on to the women's program that we have envisaged to meet every weekend, and maybe we'll do a hybrid online-offline and get you into that sometime, I'm sure. So have a very great Sunday evening. Bye-bye from my side.
Great. Thank you. I think I would like to invite all of you to join the SARC Women's Day program tomorrow. It's available online also. Please circulate it. I will send it to you, Rajam. You can circulate it among the daily members, and maybe all of you can also join in for that.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
Nice interacting with you, Revati and Rajam. Thank you, Aditi, for calling us. Thank you, ACS Reddy garu. Thank you, SICASA. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.